absolutely. The Suffolk County District Attorney emphasizes this is not some episode of CSI where everything's buttoned up very, very quickly in just a short hour. What he says is he's bringing the charges that he can, and it's the law, not law enforcement, that is failing New Yorkers.
This way.
As the 4 people charged with hacking bodies into pieces scurried out of Suffolk County Court Wednesday, questions were quickly raised about why they were allowed to walk out with no bail being set, just ankle monitoring.
This is not rational. This is not a law that was passed in the interest of public safety.
Law enforcement leaders and Republican lawmakers have been longtime critics of New York's bail reform law, which has been tweaked several times. In this case, prosecutors and the judge agreed bail was not allowed because the only charges were technically non-violent offenses related to the desecrating of a man and a woman in their 50s. The district attorney has yet to charge a violent crime like murder.
You have to think that perhaps we've gone a little bit too far with bail reform.
But defenders of bail reform, including Governor Kathy Hochul and Senate Democrats, say this has nothing to do with the law. A spokesman saying, quote, "It's deeply concerning that these people are not in jail because the DA undercharged them when he clearly could have charged them with bailable offenses. Prior to our bail reforms, these charges rarely resulted in bail being set."
We are one of the most aggressive DA's offices in the state, but beyond that, it's a smokescreen.
Late Thursday, the district attorney fired back, saying police are conducting a proper and thorough investigation, and judges should be allowed to consider a, quote, dangerousness standard when it comes to bail.
They wrote this woefully inadequate law. They need to fix it.
In practical terms, Democrats control the entirety of state government, and Assembly Speaker Pro Tem Jeffrey Aubrey of Queens says more tweaks to bail reform are not on the table right now.
Every time something goes wrong, they think that the tweak is required, never mind why it went wrong. And so, from our perspective, it served the purpose. Your bail is only to ensure you come back for trial.
All very interesting, Henry. Now, I spoke to Governor Kathy Hochul about this and about the charges she made about the DA, right? And she seemed to soften her approach now, saying, well, the case needs to play out.
Yeah.
What do you make of the back and forth here?
Well, she pretty much had to soften her approach because she was getting a lot of criticism. Let's take a listen, I think, to the soundbite, and then we'll talk about it afterward.
Now, this is a very unique circumstance in Suffolk County, and I know the Suffolk County Police Department is working so hard to get to the bottom of this, as is the DA. So when partial evidence comes up, I do think that there'll be opportunities for them to bring their case. I'm not going to comment on that. They're doing their job, and I respect that. But the bail laws, I thought were gone too far in the wrong direction. I'm bringing them back, and we're going to continue to make sure that we keep people safe.
So that's quite a bit different from what she said just a couple of days earlier on a different news channel, and what Democrats have said, where they criticized the DA for not bringing, charges that would be able to seek bail. Seems to have backed off of that because it is a little out of school for a politician to comment on an active investigation. That being said, it's a really strange situation, but the bottom line is Democrats say this is the exception to the rule and that bail reform really does need to stand the way it is.
That's the Assembly members and the Senate members saying we're not going to change bail. She left the door open a little bit for possible changes to it.
A little bit, but they let her tweak it last time. They weren't really happy about that. I find it very hard. I was speaking to the Speaker Pro Tem, so this is a high-ranking Democrat who's just like, we're not going to do policy in the budget again. When he said it to me, I believed it.
Yeah, and I say she left the door open just a tiny crack, right? Not fully shut.